Almost there. Okay, you may as well find a broomstick right now, or a dowel if you have one. It's going to be part of our warm-up. You'll also want a latex band. Is it latex? Vinyl? Latex? You know what I mean. Rubber band. Or a hip circle, something like that, for some side steps. And then we're just going to do some planks as well. So, we are going to set our timer for 30 seconds of movement. Actually, let's set this for side steps. Yeah, we'll go 30 seconds of movement. 10 seconds of transition time. And we're gonna do 6 rounds. And we're gonna start with our shoulder mobility with the dowel. So with your dowel in front of you, we're gonna take a wide grip, palms down. We're going to anchor one side, we're going to come up, around, and pull back. So sliding down the side, and then around the other side. And then we're going to reverse that direction. Okay, but we're always setting an anchor, waist height, and then moving around the body, set the anchor, and move around the body. Okay, so we've got 10 seconds transition time here. We're going to move into a plank. So you can go high or low, doesn't matter. Think about keeping your legs tight, glutes tight, abs tight. Make sure you're applying active pressure into the floor. Okay, you're gonna hop into your hip circle. So I've got a hip circle. This one goes above knee. I'm gonna step out to the side and then step to the other direction. So just back and forth. Now when you step in, make sure you're resisting the tension of the band, and also make sure that you're leaving some space between your feet so that you're keeping some good tension on that band the whole time. Okay, that's good. You can drop out of that. We're going to switch back to our dowel stuff. So alternating directions. We're going all the way around and then all the way back. Be aware that you're not overextending through the ribs to perform this movement. So keep your abs on and chest down, or ribs down. Do a couple more here. Okay, that's good. We'll set that to the side. We're gonna hop back to our plank. Keep it tight. Make sure the body's working as one. Legs tight, glutes tight, abs tight. Good. Pop up. You're going to hop into your band. And we're back to our side steps. Should be feeling that in your lateral glutes. Okay, we're gonna hop out of there. To be honest, we don't really have to keep hopping out of the band, you can just keep it on. All right, back to our shoulder mobility. So all the way around and all the way back. Keep those ribs down. That's going to help you isolate this mobility in the shoulder capsule itself. Okay. Do a couple more here. All right, that's good. We're going to prepare for our plank again. Here we go. I want you to think about keeping your shoulders over top of the wrists or even slightly forward of the wrists. If you're down on your elbows, I want you to make sure that your shoulders are in line with the elbows or ahead of the elbows, not behind. Right, so bum down, body forward. Keep your weight out of your toes. Okay, we're coming back up. Hop into your band. Again, make sure you're resisting that band on the way in. Okay, that's good. Hop out. Coming back to our dowel for our shoulder mobility. Now as you come around, you're going to tuck that elbow in and just extend the arm. And when you're doing that, you're sliding down the back. So you're not going to come way out here. We're going to just graze across the arm and then slide it down the back. And then sliding up the back. Okay, that's good. We're going to prepare for our plank. There we go. Again, we want shoulders forward, feet, weight out of the feet. So if you feel your calves stretching, you got too much weight back. I want you to bring your weight forward. All right, pop it up. You're gonna hop to your band. All right, here we go. If you want to add in a few more steps, you can do that. Okay, so we're going to go 2 more times through. Starting now, grab your dowel. Again, just graze past the shoulders, and then follow your back, the contour of your back, right, to come down. Do a couple more here. Okay, moving into our plank. Bum down. We want shoulders forward, weight out of the feet. Stop, pop up, grab your band. Make sure that you're not tipping, so don't do the Tin Man. Okay, I want you to move from the hip. So move that leg out rather than tipping back to make that move. Okay, so we're back to our shoulder stuff. Doing all these exercises to prepare our body for the work that's about to come. So a lot of this is about mobilization, a lot about this is about activation. So getting important synergistic muscles, and those are just muscles that help to stabilize us when we're doing our larger movements. We want to make sure that those are engaged and ready so they can do their job. I think we're supposed to be on plank right now, aren't we? It's all right. We'll get there. A couple more. Okay, we're gonna drop to our plank. Again, we want body forward, weight out of the feet, hips low. Okay, that is good, you guys. All right, we are going to get into some Bulgarian split squats. And then after we're done those, we're going to do some psoas smashing to loosen up the hip flexors. You can start this body weight, so we'll do some warm up, I guess. Yeah, we'll do one warm up set. You'll need a bench or a box or a ball or the side of your couch, so the armrest of your couch, something that is, I would say, probably at least knee height. Well, it's probably not the minimum height you need, even something like 12 inches or so. So something like the small box here would be fine. You can make do. I like something a little higher. Okay. So let's pull this guy forward. All right, so basic setup for your Bulgarian split squat. We want foot on the bench, and people might debate this, and I'm gonna give reasons for this, but it's important for you to use the top of your foot on the bench. We want the rear leg to be as relaxed as possible. The rear leg is not an active part of the exercise. The rear leg is just there for minimal balance, but it's definitely not an active component of the exercise. It shouldn't be actively stabilizing you really, because if you lose balance with like 100 pounds or so of extra added weight, that ain't gonna save you, okay? And if anything, you might pull something if you try to catch your balance with that back leg, because this is not a functional position anymore. We're in full hip extension. There's nothing really else this leg can do beyond just you pushing your foot to the bench and putting a whole bunch of torque through the knee to try and help you balance. The reason why this leg needs to be relaxed is because, and this is something that we observe with beginners on this exercise, is that, and with lunges, mind you, this is a very common thing that we see with lunges, is that there's too much emphasis on that back leg. In lunge stance, the back leg should not be doing the work, and it should not be taking your body weight. At the very least, not a substantial proportion of your body weight, okay? Like the reasons I mentioned before, this is not a very active functional position for you to be in. All you can do here in this position is extend at the knee. That is not sufficient to balance you, especially with added load, and it's not sufficient to bring you up from your bottom position to your top position. And the mechanics of it wouldn't make sense. Whether it be a lunge or a Bulgarian split squat, they tend to throw their weight into that back leg and really tense that back leg. The problem with that, particularly with the Bulgarian split squat, front hip. This is where all the stability and power is coming from, okay? So if you're trying to activate that rear leg, if that leg is too stiff, okay, you're not going to be able to get down to sufficient depth. That to some degree means that you're not going to be able to engage here, but it's kind of like that chicken or the egg thing. Are you not engaging here, and that's why you're not coming down deep here, or you're not relaxing this leg, and that's why you're not engaging through your hip, right? But all you got to know is that there's a relationship here. We want to be able to drop down deep enough that you feel stretched through the hamstring glute complex here, and then focusing on that torque and tension to help you keep those hips level and not just letting your hip hike up. You want to make sure that the trunk is stable and that you're innervating through that glute to keep those hips level, and then drive through the base of your foot. And I don't want to say overemphasize squeezing through the glute here, but no, you're going to feel it. But there will obviously also be some activity in the quad as well. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking now. Enough explanation. All you need to know is you should be coming down deep. If you're not coming down deep, it's because this leg is probably too tense and you need to focus on that front foot. Keep your weight in your front foot. This is where the work is being done. But a Bulgarian split squat and a lunge is not a matter of just unlocking your knee and letting all your weight fall forward. You need to focus on this hip. This is where we want to load into. Okay. So, foot on the bench. Now, the one thing I was going to mention. Again, top of the foot. Being on the top of the foot allows you to relax this leg better. When you're on your toes, that's a more active position. When you do that, you're actively trying to balance with that foot, and all these muscles are tensing. That's why we stay on the top of the foot, so I can just let those muscles relax. Okay? So remember that. So let's do 10 reps, nice and deep. Not too fast on the way down. We're going to switch feet. When you switch feet, bring that rear foot exactly in line with the front foot. It's amazing how many people don't simply do this. Bring the back foot to the front foot, done. You don't need to shuffle around or adjust your position. You know you're in the right position. Opposite leg, right into it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. So we're done with our warm-up set. We're still rolling there. Okay. And now I want you to add some weight. Now you can do this with 2 bells or you can do it with 1 bell. You guys still with me? Looks like that feed might not be coming through. Come on, YouTube. We're just gonna have to go with it. Okay, 12 reps per leg is what we're gonna roll with. Bell on the inside thigh. Keep chest up, shoulders back. We want a nice long stance. That's gonna allow you to better engage through the hamstring and glutes specifically. The narrower your stance, so the further back your foot is, the more quad you're gonna inevitably get. I want you to come deep enough that you start to feel the stretch here and that torque. 11, 12. Feet side by side and switch. Not too fast on the way down. Ten, 11, 12. Fantastic. Okay. Take at least 30 seconds here, let those legs rest. Okay, next bell. I'm laddering up in weight. You don't have to, but if you do have a series of weights, I encourage you to. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull this guy back, gonna set up 1 foot. Now, setting up from the bottom helps to reinforce making sure that you're achieving maximum depth. So I'm starting with my bell on the floor. I'm gonna descend. I'm gonna take that bell in hand and pop up. 10, 11, and 12. Good stuff. Feet side by side, switch. 4, I'm in a bad spot here. There we go. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Fantastic. Woo. Okay, take a breather. Okay, let's finish with one more set. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good stuff. Woo. All right, done with those guys. So what you're going to need now is a kettlebell or something that, not a competition kettlebell. We need something small. Something that's roughly softball size. So if you have a softball, that would be good. But something like a 10-pound cast iron or even a 15-pound will work. So I want you to find something about that large and something that's dense and that will resist compression. Alright, so it looks like that internet's back up and running. Hopefully it stays that way. Alright, so if you're just coming back in, we're going to switch to some psoas smashing, so some myofascial release for the psoas. As I was explaining, you need something about the size of a 10-pound cast iron, softball. We can use a lacrosse ball, but we'll have to do it a little differently. But here is our basic approach. So I like to position the handle out. Yeah. Make sure I'm in frame here. All right, so position the handle out. I'm going to set my hip bone directly onto the body of the kettlebell, and I'm just going to roll off of that so that the kettlebell goes inside my hip bone into the deep tissue, just medial to the hip crest. So hip bone on the body of the bell, and then just roll your hip bone out. And then I want you to pancake yourself on the floor, arm outstretched, leg outstretched, and just put all your body weight into that bell. And I want you to actively breathe into the bell. So, in that flat position, deep breaths. I want you to let your abdomen enlarge from the intake of air. And I want that pressure to assist us in what we're trying to accomplish here, which is applying that pressure onto the psoas. So as that diaphragm contracts, it's going to essentially shift that bell towards our psoas. Hopefully you're feeling that. Stay nice and flat. Keep active pressure into the bell. Breathe into it. Okay, so from here, we're going to do some heel to butt. So this is kind of some tack and stretch technique. So we're tacking, we're applying pressure onto a singular point on the belly of the hip flexor. And as we do that, we're going to move that hip flexor into a more elongated position by flexing at the knee. But what's important here is that you're not arching into your low back. So keep pressure into the bell as you're pulling heel to butt. Okay, from here, we're going to add in some rotation. So with the knee flexed position, you're going to swing in and you're going to swing out. Swing in and swing out. And again, keep applying active pressure. And we're going to combine those two, so you're going to draw a circle. So we're going into extension, swing out into flexion, and then swing into flexion, and then back into extension. You can alternate directions if you like, but it's not necessary. Okay, that's good. Now, obviously, all the muscles that actively flex the hips, so whether that's your psoas major, your rectus femoris, which attaches to your femur and crosses the pelvis, regardless of what you're tackling, those are very long muscles. So obviously when we're doing this, we're only hitting a specific point. So we can do all of those techniques that we just did at different segments along that line. So you could spend a good amount of time with that one. So I'm just going to flip this over. I'm going to hit that opposite side. So hip bone on the belly of the bell. I'm going to roll that hip bone out. And then I'm just going to pancake myself. And then active breathing into the bell. So deep breaths, deep breaths. Okay, let's try some tack and stretch. So make sure that you're not arching your back, so we need to engage the muscles peripheral to the pelvis a little bit to make sure that pelvis remains stable. So essentially, easiest way to do that is just squeeze through the glutes a little bit, and you're gonna pull that heel into your butt. As I'm pulling that foot up, I'm actually thinking about driving my hips into the bell. Okay, side to side. So windshield wipers. Not too fast, don't just let your leg flop from side to side. Control that movement. Active pressure into the bell. Keep your hips level. Okay, let's draw some circles. Let's switch directions. Drawing a big circle, keeping active pressure into the bell. And always breathing, right? Full breaths. Okay, that's good. Jeepers. If it feels like you were gutted, you did a good job. All right, we're gonna move on to some chest supported rows. So chest supported means we're lying prone position on a bench, preferably an inclined bench, and the bench is supporting the chest as we engage with our row. Okay, I'm going to start with a warm-up set of 95 pounds. And I'm going to do 20 reps to start. Now, one thing I want to be aware that I do not do on these is arch too heavily as I row. So, and I generally will always do these with a supinated grip as opposed to an overhand grip. And I like to do that just because I like working my external rotation, and it helps me feel like I'm getting better innervation through my lats that way. Now, I'm going to try and position as high up on the bench as possible, so my sternum is like right at the top of the bench. I'm going to take the widest grip possible just so that I have as much range as possible to work with here. So I want my arms to be at full length at this end of the motion without hitting the floor. Okay, I'm going to leave the elbows and draw back towards the hips somewhat, but I'm also very much thinking about squeezing and contracting through my rhomboids and my mid-traps. Fantastic. Okay, so that's my set of 20. I'm going to increase my weight. I'm going to go right to 135. take anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute between your sets, depending on how challenging they were. So second set, I'm going for 15 reps. I go out to that first set of power rings. Now, keep in mind, you can do this exercise with dumbbells or kettlebells or whatever you have. You can even do it with a Bulgarian bag if you wanted. Whatever you have on hand. A couple of milk jugs, a couple of 5-gallon water jugs, whatever you got. Okay, my last weight is going to be 185. This is one of my favorite movements, just because I can sort of be lazy and work hard at the same time. And by that I just mean chest supported rows are easier systemically than bent over rows, because you don't have to use your body to resist the forces going through your spine. So if you're doing a bent over row, obviously you have to keep your back tight. Everything's got to be super tight and engaged. But with the chest supported row, the bench is supporting you. So that's why I like to do these in between my kettlebell days. Okay, we're ready. 3 sets of 10. There we go. Okay, maybe we'll go with 8 today. Okay, so 30 seconds to a minute of rest. All right. Set number 2. notice your reps starting to go down from set to set, increase your rest. At the end of the day, we're looking for, like if you're following a program, it's important that you focus on hitting your numbers and at least hitting your volume. So if you're supposed to do 3 sets of 10, make sure you do 30 reps in that workout. You can split it up whatever way you want, but generally speaking, I think that unless you're doing specifically a powerlifting program, your program will be designed to, will be based off of volume more than anything else. So we have a certain amount of volume, that's your weight times your reps times your sets, multiplied together. That'll give you a total amount of tonnage that you're moving. And so when you design programs, that's a pretty basic strength / hypertrophy approach. And then powerlifting, you focus more on percentages because that's more so the goal. But a big mistake that people make is not finishing a set or leaving, so not doing all the reps in a set and then just leaving that and not sort of rest pausing. Rest pausing just means, you know, you do 8, you rest, and then you do your last 2. A lot of people stop at 8 and then just stick with 8, kind of like what I did there. But the problem is, if you do that every time, then you're never getting in an amount of volume that arguably is the amount of volume that you need to make further improvements. So there comes a point where we listen to our body, but then there comes a point where we need to follow the program and make sure that we hit those numbers so that we can keep seeing progress the further we go into your program. All right, last set. That's fun. Okay, we're gonna do some T-spine extensions. So you need a roller. So go ahead and grab one. Okay, roller in hand. Make sure I'm in frame here. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to set that roller up. Well, actually, before we get into our extensions, let's just do some broad spectrum rolling. So just give yourself a big bear hug. We're gonna round out that back a little bit. Hips off the floor. And then just roll forward and back. See if we get any cricks and cracks. Okay, that's good. Now, let's set up about halfway up the back. Really what we're looking for is setting up at top of the lumbar, bottom of the T-spine, so the thoracic spine. You're gonna cradle the head for support. I want you to lock down your pelvis and your lumbar, because when people do extensions, a common mistake, hopefully you can see all this. A common mistake is to sort of hit a sticking point with the T-spine and then just arch through the low back to get more range of motion. We do not want to do that. We want to isolate the T-spine, and we want to do that segmentally. So what you're going to do is you're going to engage your abdominals and pull that low back to the floor a little bit. All we're really trying to do is tighten up that pelvic position. So I'm tightening up the muscles in the front that connect to the pubis, and then I also want to think about keeping my glutes engaged a little bit, just to help keep that pelvis stable and slightly posterior tilted. Then with my head supported, I'm going to let my upper body descend over the roller until I hit my sticking point, and then I want you to take a full breath and exhale. And on that exhale, you should feel like you're depressing deeper into that stretch. Flex forward and repeat. Flex forward and repeat. Okay, you're gonna scoot your bum forward an inch. We're at a new segment. We're gonna do the same thing. Lock down that pelvis, posterior tilt, cradle the head, extend over the roller, deep breath. Exhale and extend. Flex forward and repeat. Flex forward and repeat. Good, scoot your bum forward. New segment, same thing. Flex forward on the tail end of that exhale, and then new breath. Scooch forward. And we just want to basically do this till we get as high as we can go here, which would be the top of the T-spine. How do you know you're at the top of the T-spine? You know that big bony protrusion at the low base of the neck? Basically, you want to stay below that. But there's going to be a point where you can't go any further forward without sort of sliding down and losing the roller. Okay, that's all we need for that one. We're going to move on to some windmills. So for the windmills, we're just going to do 10 reps a side. I want 1 warm-up set and then 3 working sets. So windmill, grab your bell. We're going to bring that into the overhead. Feet or toes facing away from the bell, heels facing towards the bell. I'm going to shift my hip towards the bell, and that's going to shift my weight into my back foot. And this is my back foot because it's facing, this leg is away from where my toes are facing. So we're going to call that the back. So shifting my hips under the bell, and that's where my weight's staying. This leg remains locked. This one can be bent, but it shouldn't be bending, right? So that shouldn't be an action. We want to make sure that we're constantly shifting weight towards the bell. If you come down and you shift towards your toes, that's incorrect. We don't want to do that. One way to help to fix that issue is bring yourself up against the wall. Plant your butt against the wall and keep it there as you go down. Okay, if those hips pull off, then you know that you're not following the right trajectory or you're not keeping enough pressure towards that back hip. When you come up, I want you to think about pulling your hips underneath you rather than simply trying to lift the chest. So it's like you're going to actively squeeze this glute to pull those hips into extension. Okay, let's switch. If you're not very flexible, I recommend you adopt the forward bent knee style. So I'm going to pre-bend that knee and I keep that where it is as I descend. If you're more flexible, you can lock that knee and or you can take a wider stance. But I find with the less flexible people, such as myself, a narrower stance with a bent forward knee is going to be ideal. Not too fast on the way down. I find a lot of people go way too fast on the way down. This is the best, and then as a result of that, they get insufficient range of motion. You need to give yourself enough time to make micro adjustments to make sure that you're staying in the right trajectory, in that right groove. Okay? So it's a very specific biomechanical trajectory that we have to follow, where the joints have to be positioned in a way such that we're able to find that, that clear path and that there's no restrictions. Okay, so increasing weight. 10 repetitions. We're getting there. Another observation. If you lose the bell, so if you jettison the bell, if you lose control of it, the tendency for that to be, the tendency will be for the bell, for your arm to rotate forward and for you to lose the bell around that way. Think about keeping some constant pressure with that thumb turned back, okay? It doesn't need to be excessive, but I just want you to think about pulling that thumb back as you go down. All right, next set. I gotta chalk my hands. That thumb back. 4. Give yourself time. 5. Okay, one more set. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Ah, fantastic. Okay, lying hamstring. Let me show you what that looks like. So you're gonna need a medium light band. This one is probably from Rogue or something. But can you see me now? Okay, so this guy is about 1.25 inches wide, okay? And then they're all standard thickness, generally speaking. So this band, hook up to an anchor point, grab a light band, either the red or the blue, whatever works for you. You can use a towel for this, it doesn't need to be a band. And you're gonna line back. We're gonna fit this guy over the leg into the hip crease. For this stretch, we can start with a figure 4 hip stretch. But this is my right side, and so this one has more mobility for this particular position. So I'm not gonna do that. I'll do it on the left side though. But for this, I'm just gonna go into my hamstring stretch. So I'm gonna loop the foot. I'm gonna keep the knee a little soft. I'm gonna think about applying pressure back towards me to get that stretch into the belly of the hamstring. Other leg is just lying out flat, preferably. And then just try to adopt as relaxed a position as possible. Deep breaths. Okay, we're gonna drop this leg wide and outside, keeping both hands on the band, although I do like to adjust my hand position. I'm gonna set my elbow on the floor to post, and then my leg is just dropping wide and outside. What I wanna make sure of is that my distal hip is not popping up off the floor, so both hips are still well on the floor. And what we'll do here is a little bit of contract and relax while we're in this position. So from here, you're gonna contract or tense the muscles of your thigh and hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax those muscles and hold that stretch. Make sure that you're not hiking up into the hip on this side too much. So we still want to keep a very straight spine, as straight as possible, hips level. Okay, let's contract and relax again. So contract the muscles of the thigh. So I'm just tensing my quad here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Let's do that one more time. Squeeze, contract. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's good. We're going to release. We're going to switch that band to the opposite leg. I'm going to hop into my figure 4. So this side is not as mobile, so I'm going to actually do this stretch on this side. Now again, make sure you stay long through the trunk. Hips are level. If I need a little bit of extra tension, I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to place it on the thigh, I'm just going to push away a little bit. Now you can also do contract, relax method here. So I'm going to contract through my hips and glute on that left side. I'm going to hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to make sure that my hand is keeping my leg where it is as I relax those muscles. We're just holding, relax. Okay, I'm going to do another contract, relax. So I'm going to contract, hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm relaxing those muscles now. And I'm still holding this position. Okay, I'm going to loop the foot. Move to my high hamstring stretch. Knee is slightly bent, so I'm getting that stretch in the belly of the muscle. If I lock the knee, I'm going to feel that more in the tendinous region behind the knee, which is not what I want. You can do some contract relax method here where you extend the leg into that into the resistance. And hold that for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax that, and then pull back a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to drop that line outside. I'm going to post with the elbow. So elbow is supporting everything here. Keeping both hips on the floor, so I'm not letting this hip pop up off the floor. This bum's got to be down. Keep that cheek grounded. So from here we use some contract relax, so tense the muscles of the thigh, the stretching leg. Hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going to relax those muscles but maintain your position. Okay, I'm going to contract, relax again. So contract and hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax those muscles, but hold your position. Okay, gently ease out of that stretch, and you are done with that. Okay, I want to thank you guys for joining me today, and this workout will be recorded automatically, just like all the other ones are. So if you missed it, then you'll be able to come back to it. So if you missed the first part of it, you'll be able to come back to it. Yeah, so anyways, have a great day. Thanks for joining me. And tomorrow, Saturday, there's a tribute lift happening at 1 p.m. for a fallen lifter. But we will run our normally